I told a patient to bring a notebook to every meal for 30 days. She wrote down everything she ate, every pill she took, every blood pressure reading, and every time she felt dizzy. She brought the notebook to her doctor. He looked at it and cut one of her pills in half. A month later, he removed another pill entirely. She did not change her medication. She changed her information. And the information changed the conversation. There are 20 things that lower blood pressure naturally. Some of them work within hours, some within days, some within weeks. Every single one has been tested in studies with real patients and real numbers. And every single one works on top of the medication you are already taking. I am not telling you to stop your pills. I am telling you that your pills are doing one job while 20 other jobs go completely ignored. And when you start filling those gaps, your numbers change. Your doctor sees the change. And the pill conversation shifts from adding more to maybe needing less. A woman named Sylvia did exactly this. She was 72, retired court stenographer from Omaha. Her whole life was built on recording exact facts. She was on 3 blood pressure pills. Her doctor said her numbers were fine. But Sylvia felt terrible. Her ankles were swollen from one pill. She had a dry cough at night from another. She was exhausted all the time from the third. Her doctor looked at the chart and said, 135/85, you are doing great. Sylvia did not feel great. She felt like she was being managed, not helped. She bought a spiral notebook, the same kind she used in court for 30 years, and she started recording. What you are about to hear is what Sylvia recorded over the next 5 months, and what happened when she brought that notebook to her doctor. Let me start with the things that work the fastest, the ones you can do today and see a difference on the cuff tonight. Number 1. Breathing. If your pressure is always higher at the doctor than at home, and if you feel your chest tighten the moment they pull out the cuff, this one is for you. It works in 5 minutes. From breathing, not just any breathing, a specific pattern at a specific speed, 6 breaths per minute. Inhale through your nose for 4 seconds. Let your belly push out, not your chest. Then exhale through your lips for 6 seconds. Let your belly pull back in. That is 1 breath. Do 30 of those. That takes exactly 5 minutes. Why this speed and not faster or slower? Your body has a blood pressure thermostat in your neck. It adjusts your pressure based on signals from your heart and lungs. When you breathe at exactly 6 breaths per minute, your breathing rhythm locks onto the same frequency as that thermostat. They sync up, like 2 clocks ticking at the same speed. When they sync, the thermostat resets to a lower setting. The long exhale is the key. When you exhale slowly, the stretch receptors in your lungs send a signal up the vagus nerve, which is the main highway between your brain and your heart. That signal tells your heart to slow down. It tells your blood vessels to relax. It overrides the fight or flight system that keeps your pressure elevated all day. A study tested this on 14 patients. 15 minutes of paced breathing. Their systolic pressure dropped 8 points and their diastolic dropped 4 points during the session. That is a bigger drop than some medications produce. From breathing. The drop starts within 2 minutes. It peaks at 5 minutes. It lasts 15 to 30 minutes after you stop. If you do this 3 times a day for 8 weeks, the research shows your baseline pressure resets permanently lower. Your body learns the new setting. Do this before every blood pressure reading. Your number will be lower, and it will be real, not a trick. A physiological reset. The wrong way to do this. Breathing with your chest instead of your belly. Chest breathing activates the muscles in your neck and shoulders, which triggers the stress response and raises your pressure. If your shoulders are moving, you are doing it wrong. Only your belly should move. Also wrong. Holding your breath between inhale and exhale. That creates a pressure spike inside your chest that drives your blood pressure up, not down. Smooth and continuous. In through the nose, out through the lips. No holding. This is safe with every blood pressure medication. Every single one. No interaction. No risk of dropping too low because the thermostat in your neck prevents it from going below your body's safe floor. One more thing about breathing. It works beautifully on its own. But there is something sitting in your bathroom cabinet right now that can completely cancel the effect of method number 5. If you use it every morning, method 5 is dead on arrival. I will tell you what it is when we get there. Number 2, hand squeezing. This one dropped blood pressure more than most single pills in a review of over 1,000 patients. 11 points systolic, 6 points diastolic, from squeezing a towel. 12 minutes, 3 times a week. Get a hand towel, roll it up tight. Squeeze it at about 1/3 of your maximum strength. Not as hard as you can, about 1/3. Hold it for 2 minutes, rest for 1 minute. Switch hands. Hold for 2 minutes, rest. Repeat until you have done 2 squeezes per hand. Total time, about 12 minutes. Do this 3 times a week. Why does squeezing a towel lower blood pressure? When you hold the squeeze for 2 minutes, the muscles in your forearm are starving for oxygen. Blood flow is cut off by the sustained contraction. The moment you release, blood rushes back into the arm. That rush of blood creates friction against the inner wall of every blood vessel it passes through. That friction activates the same enzyme that produces the gas that relaxes your arteries. The gas floods your system. Your blood vessels open, your pressure drops. The drop after one session lasts up to 4 hours. A review of over 1,000 patients found that regular hand grip exercise lowered systolic pressure by 11 points and diastolic by 6 points. That is more than most single blood pressure pills achieve. The wrong way, squeezing as hard as you can. Maximum effort causes a dangerous pressure spike during the squeeze. You only need 1/3 effort. If you have arthritis, use a large, soft towel instead of a hard gripper. If your resting pressure is above 180 over 110, skip this one until your doctor brings it down. The squeeze temporarily raises pressure before it drops. Safe with all blood pressure medications. Number 3, how you sit when you check your pressure. This is not a treatment. This is an error that adds 10 to 30 points to your reading that should not be there. A full bladder adds 10 to 15 points. The nerves around your bladder are connected to the same stress system that raises your blood pressure. A full bladder is a constant, low-level alarm signal. An unsupported back adds 5 to 10 points. If you are sitting on the edge of the bed or on a soft couch, your core muscles are working to keep you upright. That effort raises your pressure. Crossed legs add 5 to 8 points. Crossing your legs acts like a tourniquet on your veins, forcing more blood back to your heart, increasing the output, raising the number. Talking adds 10 points. Your brain cannot regulate breathing rhythm while forming sentences. The irregular breathing disrupts the thermostat. The arm hanging at your side instead of resting on a table adds 10 points. Your arm muscles are working to hold the weight of the arm. That effort raises the number. Add those up. A senior who checks pressure on the bed with a full bladder, legs crossed, arm hanging, talking to their spouse, could be reading 30 to 40 points too high. Their doctor sees that number and adds a pill. The pill was not needed. The measurement was wrong. The correct way: empty your bladder first. Sit in a hard-backed dining chair. Feet flat on the floor, back against the chair. Bare arm resting on a table with the cuff at heart level. Sit in complete silence for 5 full minutes before pressing the button. Take the reading. Wait 1 minute. Take it again. Use the second number. The first reading is almost always higher because pressing the button causes a small anxiety spike. Sylvia discovered this in week 1. She had been checking her pressure on her couch with her arm in her lap. When she switched to the correct position with 5 minutes of silence and the breathing technique, her reading dropped from 135 over 85 to 128 over 78. 7 points were error, not disease. Her notebook started with a correction, not a supplement. Number 4, dark chocolate. Specifically, 85% cacao or higher. No milk chocolate, no Dutch processed, no filling inside. 2 large squares, about 25 to 30 grams, on an empty stomach in the mid-morning. The cacao bean contains a compound that goes straight to the lining of your blood vessels and physically switches on the enzyme that produces the gas that relaxes arteries. It locks the enzyme in the on position. Your arteries are forced to relax. A study of 60 patients showed that 1 serving dropped systolic pressure by nearly 5 points within 2 hours. The peak effect is exactly 2 hours after eating. What kills the effect? Milk. If you eat the chocolate with a glass of milk, the proteins in the milk bind to the active compound and block absorption. You get 0 benefit. Milk chocolate does the same thing, and Dutch processed chocolate has been treated with a solution that destroys 90% of the active compound. Check the ingredients. If it says processed with alkali, it will not work. Safe with all blood pressure medications. Minor amounts of caffeine, so if you have a history of rapid heartbeat, eat it earlier in the day. Number 5. Beetroot juice. This one drops blood pressure 10 points in 2.5 hours. 1 cup, about 8 ounces. 100% pure beetroot juice. Not cooked beets, not canned beets, cold-pressed juice. Drink it about 2 hours before the time of day your pressure usually runs highest. The juice contains a compound your body converts into the same artery-relaxing gas from a completely different pathway than the chocolate or the hand squeeze. This pathway does not depend on the enzyme in your artery lining at all. It uses bacteria on the back of your tongue. The compound in the juice goes into your saliva. Bacteria on your tongue convert it into a different form. You swallow it. Your stomach acid converts it into the gas. It enters your bloodstream and relaxes your vessels from a back door that aging and disease cannot block. A study showed a peak drop of 10 points systolic at 2.5 hours after drinking. Critical warning. If you use antibacterial mouthwash, it kills the bacteria on your tongue that make this conversion happen. The juice becomes useless. If you are drinking beetroot juice for blood pressure, stop using mouthwash or switch to a non-antibacterial version. This one detail is the difference between the juice working and not working. Do not panic if your urine or stool turns red or pink. That is the pigment from the beets. It is harmless. But many seniors see it and think they are bleeding. It is just the beet color passing through. If you have a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones, use caution. Beets are high in oxalate. If you take nitroglycerin for chest pain, do not combine it with beetroot juice. Both produce the same gas. Too much of that gas at once can drop your pressure dangerously low. Safe with most blood pressure medications otherwise. I need to say something important before we go further. Some of the tips coming up can interact with your pills in ways that are genuinely dangerous. 2 of them can raise your potassium to a level that stops the heart if you are on the wrong medication. 1 of them, combined with a common chest pain drug, can drop your pressure so fast you lose consciousness. I will cover every dangerous combination after tip 20, but please, do not start anything from this video until you have heard that section. The tips are powerful. That is exactly why the safety information matters. Number 6. Hibiscus tea. 2 cups a day. Morning and afternoon. Use dried hibiscus flowers, not commercial fruit tea that uses hibiscus for color. Steep 2 grams of dried flowers in hot water for 10 minutes. Drink it plain, no sugar. Sugar triggers insulin, which causes your kidneys to hold on to sodium, which raises your pressure, canceling out what the tea is trying to do. Hibiscus works the same way as a class of blood pressure pills called ACE inhibitors. Your body has a hormone system that tightens blood vessels and tells your kidneys to hold on to salt. ACE inhibitors block that system. Hibiscus blocks the same system, naturally. The compounds in the flower physically sit in the same spot on the enzyme that the prescription drug sits in. A review of multiple studies found it lowers systolic by about 7.5 points and diastolic by 3.5. The effect builds over about 5 days of daily drinking. Here is the safety issue, and it is serious. If you are already on a maximum dose of lisinopril, ramipril, or losartan, adding heavy hibiscus tea on top hits the same pathway twice. You can drop your pressure too far. If you are on an ACE inhibitor or ARB, start with 1 cup a day, not 2. Monitor your numbers. If you feel dizzy when you stand up, the combination is too strong. Tell your doctor. Number 7. Magnesium. If you are on a water pill and you feel tired all the time, get leg cramps at night, or have trouble sleeping, your body may be starved for this mineral. Your water pill drains it every single day and nobody is replacing it. Specifically magnesium glycinate, not magnesium oxide. This matters more than almost anything else in this video. Magnesium oxide is the cheapest form. It is the one in most drugstore supplements. Your body absorbs about 4% of it. The other 96% goes straight through you and causes diarrhea. Diarrhea dehydrates you. Dehydration raises your blood pressure. The cheap magnesium supplement can actually make your pressure worse. Magnesium glycinate absorbs at a dramatically higher rate. It reaches your blood. It reaches your cells. And once it is inside the cells lining your blood vessels, it does something specific. It sits in the same doorway that calcium uses to enter the cell. When magnesium is in the doorway, calcium cannot get through. Without calcium, the muscle around the blood vessel cannot tighten. The vessel stays relaxed. This is the same basic mechanism as a calcium channel blocker pill like amlodipine. Magnesium is a natural calcium channel blocker. It does not replace the pill, but it supports the same system from a different angle. Take 300 to 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 1 hour before bed. It helps with sleep, and it relaxes your vessels during the overnight hours when your body is supposed to be dipping to its lowest pressure. A review of over 2,000 patients found that magnesium supplementation lowered systolic by about 4 points. The effect takes 3 to 7 days to build. If you are on a thiazide diuretic like hydrochlorothiazide, you need magnesium even more urgently. Thiazides flush magnesium out of your body through your urine. Most seniors on thiazides are chronically magnesium depleted, and nobody is replacing it. The diuretic is lowering your pressure while draining the mineral that keeps your arteries relaxed. You are fighting yourself. If you have severe kidney disease, stage 4 or 5, do not take magnesium supplements without your doctor's approval. Damaged kidneys cannot clear excess magnesium, and it can build to dangerous levels. Number 8. Potassium from food. If you eat fairly well, but your pressure will not come down no matter what your doctor tries, you may be missing this one mineral. Most Americans get about half the potassium they need. Your kidneys cannot flush sodium without it. Not from a supplement, from food. This is important. Your kidneys have one job with sodium: get rid of it or hold on to it. The switch that tells your kidneys to dump sodium is potassium. Without enough potassium coming in, your kidneys hold sodium. Sodium holds water. Water raises the volume of fluid in your blood. More fluid in the same pipes means higher pressure. You cannot flush sodium without potassium. They are linked. One meal with 1,000 milligrams of potassium shifts the balance. 1 cup of cooked spinach gives you about 840 milligrams. Half an avocado gives you 490. A cup of coconut water gives you 600. 1 medium sweet potato gives you 540. A cup of white beans gives you over 1,000 by itself. A review found that increasing potassium intake dropped systolic by 4 to 7 points. The effect starts within 24 to 48 hours as your kidneys recalibrate the sodium balance. Here is the safety issue, and it can be lethal. If you take an ACE inhibitor like lisinopril, an ARB like losartan, or a potassium-sparing diuretic like spironolactone, your kidneys are already holding on to potassium. Adding a large amount of potassium from food on top can push your blood potassium too high. High potassium stops the heart. This is not a mild side effect. This is cardiac arrest. If you are on any of those 3 drug types, do not dramatically increase your potassium intake without telling your doctor and getting a potassium blood level checked first. If you are on a thiazide diuretic or a loop diuretic like furosemide, increasing potassium is usually safe and often necessary because those drugs drain potassium. Do not use potassium chloride salt substitutes like no salt or new salt if you are on ACE inhibitors or ARBs. Those products are concentrated potassium. Seniors use them thinking they are being healthy by avoiding sodium and accidentally flood their blood with potassium that their medication is already holding on to. The wrong version. Potassium supplements from the drugstore. The FDA limits these to 99 milligrams per pill. That is useless. You would need 10 pills to match 1 cup of spinach. Get it from food. Number 9. Aged garlic extract. Aged garlic extract. Specifically that. Raw garlic is too harsh on the stomach. Garlic powder loses the active compound. Garlic oil capsules are missing it entirely. The specific brand studied in most trials is Kyolic, 600 to 1,200 milligrams daily with food. The aging process creates a compound that your red blood cells convert into a gas called hydrogen sulfide. This gas relaxes blood vessels through a completely separate pathway from the nitric oxide pathway used by beetroot juice, dark chocolate, and L-citrulline. It opens a specific channel on the muscle cells around your arteries that forces them to relax regardless of what the other pathways are doing. A study of 88 patients with uncontrolled blood pressure found that aged garlic extract dropped systolic by 11.5 points. That rivals some medications. The effect builds over about 7 days. If you eat raw garlic, you must crush or chop it and let it sit for at least 10 minutes before cooking. Crushing activates an enzyme that creates the precursor compound. If you throw garlic straight into a hot pan without crushing and waiting, the heat destroys the enzyme before it can do its work. The garlic tastes the same, but does nothing for your blood pressure. Safety. Aged garlic extract has a mild blood-thinning effect. If you are on warfarin, Eliquis, or high-dose aspirin, tell your doctor before starting. The combination can increase bleeding risk. The wrong version. Odorless garlic pills. The process that removes the odor also removes the active compound. If it does not smell like garlic, it is not working. Number 10. Ground flaxseed. I have covered this in a previous video in depth. What matters for this list? 3 tablespoons of finely ground flaxseed daily mixed into oatmeal, yogurt, or a smoothie. It must be ground, not whole. Whole seeds pass through you undigested. The mechanism involves changing the types of fats in your blood vessel walls. The omega-3 in flaxseed alters a specific enzyme pathway that preserves the compounds keeping your arteries flexible. It is one of the most powerful natural interventions ever studied for blood pressure. One study showed a drop of 15 points systolic in patients who were already on medication. The effect begins within a week and peaks at about 6 months of daily use. Buy it in a sealed, refrigerated bag. Store it in the freezer. If it smells like paint, it has gone rancid and will do the opposite of what you want. If you are on a blood thinner, talk to your doctor. Flaxseed has a mild blood-thinning effect. Sylvia added magnesium at night and flaxseed in her morning yogurt in month 2. Her reading dropped from 128/78 to 118/74. 10 points down. No new pills, just a mineral and a seed. She wrote every number in the notebook. Morning, evening. She was building a case. We are halfway through. If you have made it this far, you already know more about lowering blood pressure naturally than most doctors discuss in a year of appointments. But I need you to keep going. Not just for you, for the person who needs tip 14, the one on a statin whose body is being drained of a compound their cells need to function. They will never hear about it if people stop watching here. Every minute you stay helps this video reach one more person. Someone sitting in a chair right now blaming their exhaustion on getting old. The answer might be a supplement their doctor never mentioned. Your watch time is their lifeline. Stay. Number 11. Celery seed extract. This one surprises most people. Celery has been used for blood pressure in traditional medicine for centuries, but most doctors dismiss it. The science supports it. 150 milligrams of standardized celery seed extract twice daily. The key compound acts as a mild, natural calcium channel blocker and a gentle diuretic that does not drain your potassium the way prescription diuretics do. That second part is significant. Most water pills lower your pressure by making you lose fluid, but they also dump potassium and magnesium. Celery seed extract reduces fluid without disturbing the mineral balance. A study showed a drop of about 8 points systolic. The effect builds over 3 to 7 days. If you are already on a calcium channel blocker like amlodipine and a diuretic, adding celery seed extract hits both pathways at once. Monitor your numbers and tell your doctor. Number 12. Omega-3 fatty acids. 3 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Not 3 grams of fish oil. 3 grams of the actual EPA and DHA inside the fish oil. This distinction matters because most fish oil capsules contain only 300 milligrams of EPA and DHA per 1,000 milligram capsule. You would need 10 standard capsules a day to reach the effective dose. That is why most people who take fish oil see no blood pressure benefit. The dose is too low. Look for concentrated fish oil that delivers at least 750 milligrams of EPA and DHA per capsule. Or use a liquid fish oil measured by teaspoon. Take it with a meal that contains fat. The omega-3 absorbs dramatically better with fat. The compounds physically embed themselves into the walls of your blood vessel cells, replacing inflammatory fats that make the vessels stiff. Over 3 to 4 weeks, the vessel walls become more flexible. Flexible vessels mean lower pressure. A review of studies found a drop of about 4.5 points systolic in patients with high blood pressure. The wrong version. Fish oil that has gone rancid. Cut a capsule open and smell it. If it smells strongly of fish or has a bitter taste, it is oxidized. Rancid fish oil is pro-inflammatory and can raise your pressure instead of lowering it. Freeze your capsules if you have trouble with fishy burps. The cold slows the release in your stomach. The triglyceride form absorbs better than the ethyl ester form. Check the label or the manufacturer's website. Safety. At doses above 3 grams, combined EPA and DHA, bleeding risk increases. If you are on warfarin or Eliquis, stay at 2 grams or get your doctor's approval for the higher dose. Number 13. Coenzyme Q10. If you feel muscle aches, weakness, or a tiredness that your doctor cannot explain, and you take a cholesterol pill, this might be the missing piece. The specific form matters. Ubiquinol, not ubiquinone. Seniors over 65 have difficulty converting ubiquinone into the active ubiquinol form. Buy the one that says ubiquinol on the label, 100 to 200 milligrams daily, with a meal that contains fat. If you take a statin for cholesterol, this one is critical. Statins block the pathway your body uses to make cholesterol. The same pathway makes CoQ10. Every senior on a statin is CoQ10 depleted to some degree. That depletion affects the energy production inside every cell, including the cells lining your blood vessels. CoQ10 works as a massive antioxidant inside the vessel wall. The main threat to the gas that relaxes your arteries is not a lack of production, it is destruction. Your body makes the gas, but a molecule called superoxide destroys it before it can do its job. CoQ10 neutralizes superoxide. More CoQ10 means more of the relaxation gas survives. More gas means lower pressure. A review of studies found a drop of 11 points systolic and 7 diastolic. Those are large numbers. The effect takes about 4 weeks to build as your cells replenish their depleted stores. The wrong version, ubiquinone form, taken on an empty stomach. It will not absorb. Take ubiquinol, with fat. With breakfast, safe with all blood pressure medications, especially important if you are on a statin. Number 14. L-citrulline. Your body makes the artery-relaxing gas from an amino acid called L-arginine. You can buy L-arginine supplements, but most of it gets destroyed in your gut before it reaches your blood. L-citrulline is the workaround. It bypasses the gut, enters your kidneys, and gets converted into L-arginine directly in your bloodstream where it is needed. 3,000 to 6,000 milligrams of L-citrulline powder dissolved in water daily. A study showed a drop of 7 to 11 points in central aortic pressure, which is the pressure hitting your brain and kidneys. That is the pressure that actually matters, not the arm cuff number. The effect builds over about 2 weeks. L-citrulline is found naturally in watermelon, especially the white rind near the skin. But you would need to eat an enormous amount of watermelon to match a 6-gram supplement dose. The powder is more practical. Safety. If you take PDE5 inhibitors like sildenafil or tadalafil, combining them with L-citrulline can cause a dangerous blood pressure drop. Both increase the relaxation gas. Together, they can overdo it. Tell your doctor if you take both. Number 15. Probiotics. This one takes the longest to work, but the mechanism is fascinating and the evidence is growing. A multi-strain probiotic containing lactobacillus and bifidobacterium species, delivering at least 1 billion colony-forming units daily. Your gut bacteria produce short-chain fatty acids, specifically butyrate and propionate. Propionate enters your bloodstream and binds to specific receptors on your blood vessel walls that force them to relax. If your gut bacteria are out of balance, you produce less propionate. Your vessels get less of the signal to relax. Your pressure stays elevated. A bad gut also leaks inflammatory compounds into the blood that directly stiffen your arteries. Rebalancing the gut reduces that leak. A review of studies found a drop of about 3.5 points systolic. Modest compared to others on this list, but the effect was only seen after 8 weeks of consistent use at the billion-unit dose. Most studies using lower doses or shorter durations showed nothing. Dose and duration matter here more than any other method on this list. The wrong version. Probiotics that have been sitting on a warm shelf for months. Many strains are dead by the time you buy them. Choose refrigerated brands or shelf-stable strains that are specifically tested for survival. Yogurt alone is not enough. Most commercial yogurts contain too few live cultures and too much sugar. Safe with all blood pressure medications. Number 16. Olive leaf extract. Not olive oil, olive leaf. The leaf of the olive tree contains a compound that the oil does not have in therapeutic amounts. 500 milligrams of olive leaf extract standardized to 16 to 20% oleuropein, taken twice daily. A head-to-head study compared olive leaf extract directly against a prescription ACE inhibitor called captopril, 232 patients. After 8 weeks, olive leaf extract lowered systolic by 11.5 points. The prescription drug lowered it by 13.7 points. The natural extract nearly matched the pharmaceutical in a clinical trial, published in a medical journal. The compound works by blocking calcium channels in the vessel wall and by preventing cholesterol from being oxidized inside the artery. It attacks pressure from 2 directions at once. The effect takes about 8 weeks to fully develop. If you are already on an ACE inhibitor, adding olive leaf extract gives your body 2 layers of the same type of protection. Monitor your numbers. If they drop below 110/65, the combination may be too aggressive. Do not confuse olive leaf extract with olive oil supplements. They are different products with different compounds at different concentrations. Number 17. Sodium reduction to 1,500 milligrams. The average American senior consumes about 3,400 milligrams of sodium per day. The target for blood pressure reduction is 1,500, cutting sodium in half. The mechanism is simple. Sodium pulls water into your bloodstream. More sodium means more water, means more volume, means more pressure. Reducing sodium reduces the volume of fluid your heart has to pump. Less volume, less pressure. A landmark study showed that reducing sodium to 1,500 milligrams dropped systolic by 7 points in people with normal pressure and 11.5 points in people with high pressure. The effect begins within days. The top hidden sodium sources seniors do not realize. Bread is the #1 source of sodium in the American diet, not table salt. Canned soups can contain 800 to 1,000 milligrams per serving. Deli meat has 500 to 800 milligrams per few slices. Frozen dinners marketed as healthy often contain 700 to 1,200 milligrams. Condiments like soy sauce, ketchup, and salad dressing add hundreds of milligrams per tablespoon. Restaurant meals average 1,200 to 2,000 milligrams per plate. Read every label. Look for the sodium line. If a single serving has more than 400 milligrams, it is a high-sodium food. The wrong version, cutting sodium without increasing potassium. The ratio between the two matters more than either one alone. If you cut sodium but your potassium stays low, the benefit is smaller. Combine this method with method number 8. Also wrong, drinking excessive water thinking it will flush sodium. Your kidneys regulate sodium based on hormones, not water volume. Drinking 2 gallons of water does not wash sodium out. Potassium does. One more thing about sodium that surprises people. Some medications contain hidden sodium. Effervescent tablets like Alka-Seltzer or effervescent vitamin C tablets can contain 500 milligrams of sodium per dose. Some antacids contain sodium bicarbonate. If you are taking these daily, you are adding sodium without knowing it. If you know someone whose blood pressure will not come down despite everything their doctor has tried, the next 3 tips might be the reason. Vitamin D, meal timing, and walking after dinner work on systems that no pill touches. If you send this video to one person, send it to the person whose doctor keeps adding pills and the numbers keep staying high. These last 3 tips are for them. Number 18. Vitamin D3 plus K2. 5,000 IU of vitamin D3 combined with 100 micrograms of vitamin K2 in the MK7 form, taken with a meal that contains fat. The fat is required for absorption. Without fat, most of the vitamin passes through unused. More than 70% of seniors over 65 are deficient in vitamin D. The connection to blood pressure is direct. Vitamin D suppresses the gene that produces renin. Renin is the first step in the hormone cascade that raises your blood pressure. Less renin means less of the hormone that tightens your arteries and tells your kidneys to hold sodium. The K2 has a separate job. It activates a protein that pulls calcium out of your artery walls and puts it into your bones where it belongs. Calcium in the artery wall is what makes arteries stiff. Stiff arteries mean higher pressure. K2 addresses the structural stiffness that no pill can reverse. A study in elderly patients with low vitamin D showed that supplementation drops systolic by about 4 points. The effect takes 2 to 3 months because it requires changing how your genes express the renin enzyme. If you are on a thiazide diuretic, monitor your calcium levels. Thiazides raise blood calcium, and so does vitamin D. The combination can push calcium too high in rare cases. Have your doctor check your vitamin D level at your next blood draw. If you are below 30 nanograms per milliliter, you are deficient. The target for cardiovascular benefit is 40 to 60. Number 19. Time-restricted eating. Eat all your food between 8 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Nothing after 6. Not even a small snack. Water, herbal tea, and black coffee are fine outside the window. No calories. When you stop eating by 6, your body spends the next 14 hours without incoming food. During this fast, your liver burns through its stored sugar. When the stored sugar runs out, your insulin level drops. Low insulin tells your kidneys to release sodium instead of holding it. Your body naturally dumps fluid overnight. Your morning blood pressure is lower. This also aligns your eating with your body's internal clock. Your liver, your pancreas, and your kidneys all have circadian rhythms. Eating late at night forces these organs to work when they are supposed to be resting. That disruption raises overnight blood pressure and prevents the critical 10 to 20% nighttime dip that protects your heart and brain while you sleep. A study of patients with metabolic syndrome found that a 10-hour eating window dropped systolic by 4 to 8 points over 12 weeks. If you are on diabetes medication, talk to your doctor before extending your fasting window. The combination of fasting plus diabetes drugs can cause blood sugar to drop too low. This method costs nothing, requires no supplements, and can be started tonight. Number 20. Walking after dinner. 15 minutes. Moderate pace. Starting about 15 minutes after you finish eating. Not a hike, not a jog. A walk. The kind you would take to check the mailbox and keep going around the block. When you eat dinner, your blood sugar rises. That rise triggers insulin. Insulin at night prevents your body from entering the low sympathetic rest and repair mode it needs to be in for your blood pressure to dip overnight. Walking after dinner pulls sugar out of your blood using your muscles instead of insulin. The sugar goes into the muscles, insulin stays low, your nervous system powers down. Your overnight pressure dips the way it is supposed to. Consistent after-dinner walking lowers daytime resting blood pressure by 4 to 9 points systolic over 1 to 3 months. If mobility is limited, even standing and slow walking inside the house for 10 minutes after dinner helps. The goal is to use your muscles after the meal. Any movement counts. Sylvia added hibiscus tea in month 3, 2 cups a day. Her pressure dropped to 105/65. She felt dizzy standing up. The natural methods and the pills were colliding. Her notebook showed it clearly. 3 months of numbers trending down. She brought it to her doctor. He looked at the columns and cut her amlodipine dose in half. The dizziness stopped. The ankle swelling started going down for the first time in 3 years. Now, before I get to what happens overnight, there are combinations of these 20 methods that are dangerous if done together with certain medications. This is the section that could save your life if you are enthusiastic about starting. If you are on an ACE inhibitor or ARB and you add potassium foods plus hibiscus tea plus olive leaf extract, you are hitting the same system from 4 directions at once. Your blood pressure can drop to the floor. Your potassium can spike to a level that stops the heart. Do not stack all of these at once. Start one at a time. Monitor. Add the next only when the first has been stable for a week. If you are on a calcium channel blocker like amlodipine and you add magnesium glycinate plus celery seed extract, you are blocking calcium from entering the vessel wall from 3 angles. That can cause severe lightheadedness, a pounding headache, and fainting. Start with magnesium alone. See how you respond. Add celery only if your pressure is still elevated after 2 weeks of magnesium. If you take nitroglycerin for chest pain, do not take beetroot juice or L-citrulline. All 3 produce the same gas. Together, they can drop your pressure so fast and so far that you lose consciousness. If you are on warfarin or Eliquis and you add high-dose fish oil plus aged garlic extract plus ground flaxseed, all 3 have blood-thinning effects. Stacked together on top of a blood thinner, you increase the risk of a bleed that is difficult to stop. Pick one of the 3. Tell your doctor. Get your clotting levels checked more frequently. If you are on a potassium-sparing diuretic like spironolactone, do not increase potassium from food or salt substitutes without a blood test. Your medication is already keeping potassium in your body. Adding more on top can stop the heart. This is not a mild warning. This is life and death. The safest methods to start with if you are on any combination of blood pressure pills: breathing, hand grip exercise, correct measurement position, walking after dinner, and time-restricted eating. These 5 have 0 drug interactions. They cost nothing. They can be started tonight. They are the foundation everything else builds on. What your doctor does not check that you should ask for: magnesium level. Most seniors on thiazide diuretics are magnesium depleted. Your standard blood panel does not include magnesium unless you ask. Request it. If it is low, supplementing can improve your pressure and your sleep. Vitamin D level. If you are below 30 nanograms per milliliter, you are deficient. The connection between low vitamin D and high renin means your pressure is being driven up by a hormone your body would suppress if it had enough vitamin D. Potassium level. Especially if you are on a diuretic that wastes potassium or an ACE inhibitor that retains it. The balance is everything. A fasting insulin level. This is almost never checked in a routine blood panel, but elevated fasting insulin tells your kidneys to hold sodium. Many seniors with resistant high blood pressure, the kind that does not respond to 3 pills, have an insulin problem driving the sodium retention. Fixing the insulin with time-restricted eating and walking after dinner can break the cycle that pills alone cannot. A uric acid level. High uric acid directly damages the lining of blood vessels and reduces the production of the artery-relaxing gas. It is associated with resistant hypertension. It is easy to check and often elevated in seniors who eat processed food or drink alcohol regularly. An overnight pulse oximetry test or a full sleep study. If your morning pressure is higher than your evening pressure, you may have sleep apnea driving your blood pressure from midnight to 6 a.m. while you are completely unaware. A simple clip on your finger overnight can detect oxygen dips that suggest apnea. Bring these requests to your next appointment. Write them down and hand the paper to your doctor. Magnesium, vitamin D, potassium, fasting insulin, uric acid, and overnight oxygen. 6 tests. Most are covered by insurance. Most take 1 blood draw. And the results may explain why your pressure has not responded to the pills the way your doctor expected. Sylvia started walking after dinner in month 4, 15 minutes around her neighborhood. She noticed something she did not expect. Her morning readings started dropping. Not her evening readings, her morning readings. The overnight dip was coming back. Her body was finally doing at night what it was supposed to do. Her notebook showed it. Evening, 112. Morning, 108. The gap that had been missing for years was back. What happens while you sleep? This is the section most blood pressure videos skip entirely. It might be the most important section in this video. Your blood pressure is supposed to drop 10 to 20% while you sleep. This is called dipping. It is the time when your heart muscle rests, your kidneys recover, and your artery walls repair. Half of all seniors with high blood pressure do not dip at night. Their pressure stays high, or actually goes up while they sleep. This pattern triples the risk of heart attack and stroke. The most common cause of reverse dipping is sleep apnea. When the airway collapses during sleep, the oxygen in your blood drops. Your brain panics and dumps adrenaline to wake you up enough to reopen the airway. This adrenaline spike sends your blood pressure through the roof. It can happen 30 times an hour. You wake up exhausted, your pressure is sky high in the morning, and you have no idea why because you were asleep when it happened. If your morning blood pressure is consistently higher than your evening blood pressure, ask your doctor about a sleep study. Treating sleep apnea with a CPAP machine can drop blood pressure by 5 to 15 points on its own. Some patients reduce or eliminate a blood pressure pill after starting CPAP. Sleeping position matters. Sleeping flat on your back allows gravity to collapse the soft tissue in your throat, worsening apnea. Elevating the head of the bed by about 30 degrees using a wedge pillow, not stacked pillows which kink your neck, keeps the airway open and helps your body dip at night. Do not stack regular pillows. They create a sharp bend in your neck that can compress the carotid arteries going to your brain. A single wedge pillow that elevates from the waist up keeps the airway open without kinking anything. If you take a diuretic, do not take it at bedtime. You will wake up 3 times to use the bathroom. Every time you wake up, your stress system activates. Every activation spikes your pressure. The diuretic is lowering your daytime pressure while destroying your nighttime dipping. Take diuretics in the morning. If you take an ACE inhibitor, an ARB, or a calcium channel blocker, taking it at bedtime may help restore the nighttime dip. A large study of 19,000 patients showed that taking at least one blood pressure pill at bedtime reduced cardiovascular events by 45% compared to taking them all in the morning. Talk to your doctor about shifting one pill to bedtime. How to track this so your doctor takes it seriously. Buy an upper arm blood pressure monitor, not a wrist monitor. Wrist monitors are convenient, but they are less accurate because the position of your wrist relative to your heart changes the reading. Upper arm cuffs are what the studies use. Validated brands include Omron and Withings. Make sure the cuff size fits your arm. A cuff that is too small reads high. A cuff that is too large reads low. Most monitors come with a standard cuff for arms up to about 16 inches. If your arm is larger, buy the wide cuff separately. Take 2 readings every morning before your pills and before coffee. Take 2 readings every evening before dinner. Use the second reading each time. Write all 4 numbers in a notebook or a phone app. Date, time, systolic, diastolic, pulse, and a note about what you did differently that day. Started magnesium. Added hibiscus tea. Walked after dinner. After 14 days, you will have 56 readings. Average the morning readings and the evening readings separately. The morning average is your true baseline. The evening average tells you how your pressure behaves after a full day of whatever you are doing. When you see the morning average drop from one week to the next, you know the method you added that week is working. When you see no change, you know it is not. The notebook removes guessing. It replaces opinion with data. And data is the only language that changes a doctor's mind. Bring the notebook to every appointment. Open it to the page where you started a new method. Show the before and after averages. Let the numbers talk. Your doctor may not believe that breathing lowers blood pressure, but if your numbers dropped 7 points in the 2 weeks after you started breathing before every reading, the numbers are not debatable. What is too low? If your systolic drops below 100 consistently, or below 90 on any single reading, or if you feel dizzy, lightheaded, or faint when standing up, your pressure is too low. This means the combination of your medications plus the natural methods is doing more than your body needs. Call your doctor. This is a good problem. It means something is working so well that a pill dose needs to come down. What is normal variation? Blood pressure fluctuates throughout the day. A reading of 128 in the morning and 118 in the evening is normal. A reading of 150 one morning and 125 the next might mean you slept badly, ate salty food, or were stressed. Do not react to single readings. React to weekly averages. The trend is what matters, not the individual number. The stacking plan. How to combine these safely. You are not going to do all 20 at once. Do not try. Stacking too many methods on top of multiple medications can drop your pressure too low. That causes dizziness, falls, and fainting. Week 1. Fix your measurement technique and start the breathing. These 2 are free, have 0 drug interactions, and will show you what your actual baseline pressure is without the measurement errors. Week 2. Add magnesium glycinate at bedtime. This supports sleep, relaxes vessels overnight, and replenishes what your diuretic may be draining. Week 3. Add dark chocolate in the morning and hibiscus tea in the afternoon. If you are on a maximum dose ACE inhibitor or ARB, start with 1 cup of hibiscus, not 2. Week 4. Maintain everything. Log your numbers every morning and evening. Bring the log to your doctor. After the first month, if your numbers have dropped and you feel stable, you can add 1 more method per week. Ground flaxseed, aged garlic extract, beetroot juice, CoQ10 if you are on a statin. If at any point your systolic drops below 100 or you feel dizzy when you stand, stop adding and call your doctor. Your medication dose may need to come down. That is a good problem to have. The question everyone asks, can I stop my medication? Honest answer. You can often reduce your dose. You can sometimes eliminate 1 pill if you are on 2 or 3. You can rarely eliminate all pills if you are over 70 and have had high blood pressure for more than 10 years, because the structural stiffening in your arteries is permanent. It does not reverse. Controlled with fewer pills and fewer side effects is a real victory. 0 pills is usually not realistic, and chasing it can be dangerous. Never stop a beta blocker suddenly. Your heart has adapted to the drug. Stopping cold can cause your heart rate to spike to 130 or 140 within 48 hours. That can trigger a heart attack. Beta blockers must be tapered over weeks under doctor supervision. Bring your data. The conversation that changes medication is not you saying, "I want to stop this pill." It is you showing a notebook with 60 days of blood pressure readings that demonstrate the numbers have consistently dropped. Data talks. Feelings get dismissed. Notebooks do not. Sylvia brought her notebook at month 3. 5 months of readings, morning and evening, every number in a column. Her doctor flipped through the pages. He said, "This is the most organized patient log I have seen in 20 years." Her blood pressure had gone from 135/85 in the office to a consistent 110/70 at home. She was measuring correctly. She was breathing before every reading. She was taking magnesium at night, flaxseed in the morning, hibiscus tea in the afternoon, and walking after dinner. Her doctor cut her amlodipine dose in half. The ankle swelling she had lived with for 3 years started going down within a week. By month 4, the swelling was gone. Her shoes fit again. She had not worn her favorite pair in 2 years because her ankles were too puffy. She put them on and walked to the mailbox and stood there looking down at her feet. Just looking at her own shoes, on her own feet, without the swelling. Month 5, he removed the hydrochlorothiazide entirely. Her energy came back. The exhaustion that pinned her to the couch every afternoon lifted. She felt awake at 3 p.m. for the first time in years. She called her daughter and said something happened. Her daughter said, "What?" Sylvia said, "I am awake." Her daughter said, "It is 3 in the afternoon." Sylvia said, "I know. That is what I am telling you. I am awake at 3 in the afternoon." Her daughter was quiet. Then she said, "Mom, when was the last time that happened?" Sylvia said, "I do not remember. That is how long it has been." She went back to her garden. She had not knelt in the raised bed in over a year. The fatigue and the swollen ankles had taken it from her. After the pills changed, she knelt. She dug. She planted. Her neighbor saw her from the yard and said, "Sylvia, you are in the garden." She said, "I know. The garden was always here. I just could not get to it." Sylvia still takes 1 blood pressure pill, lisinopril. She still coughs a little at night from it. She is working with her doctor on whether an ARB might work better for her now that the other 2 are gone. She is in no rush. The notebook is still open. The numbers are still being recorded. And every month, the conversation with her doctor gets a little more honest. Not because the doctor changed, because the data changed. And data is louder than symptoms. Questions you are thinking right now. What about lisinopril and the cough? About 10 to 15% of people on ACE inhibitors develop a dry cough. It is caused by the drug preventing the breakdown of a substance called bradykinin, which irritates the airways. If you have the cough, ask your doctor about switching to an ARB, like losartan. ARBs do the same job without the cough. Same blood pressure control, no cough. What about amlodipine and the swollen ankles? The swelling is caused by the drug relaxing the arteries without relaxing the veins. Blood flows into the leg easily, but has a harder time getting out. Fluid leaks into the tissue around the ankle. This is the pill doing its job too aggressively in one direction. A lower dose or a combination with a different class often fixes it. What about my statin? Keep taking it. Statins are not blood pressure pills, but they protect the artery wall. The one thing to add is CoQ10 because your statin is depleting it. That is method number 13. What about aspirin? Daily aspirin for heart protection has been reconsidered in recent years. The current guidance for most seniors is that aspirin is only clearly beneficial if you have already had a heart attack or stroke. For primary prevention in people who have not had an event, the bleeding risk may outweigh the benefit. Talk to your doctor about whether your aspirin is still warranted. What if I do 5 of these methods and my pressure drops to 95/60? That is too low. Symptoms of pressure that is too low include dizziness when standing, feeling faint, blurred vision, and extreme fatigue. If your systolic goes below 100 consistently, call your doctor. You almost certainly need a medication reduction. This is the goal, not dangerously low pressure. Appropriately low pressure with fewer pills and fewer side effects. What if my doctor says natural methods do not work? Bring the studies. Print the meta-analysis on magnesium. Print the beetroot juice trial. Print the hand grip meta-analysis that showed 11 points systolic, more than most single drugs. Numbers on paper change conversations that words alone cannot. What if I cannot afford supplements? The most powerful methods on this list are free. Breathing is free. Walking is free. Correct measurement is free. Reducing sodium is free. Time-restricted eating is free. Sleeping position is free. Potassium from food costs the same as whatever you are buying at the grocery store. You do not need a single supplement to lower your blood pressure. The supplements add benefit on top of the free methods. What if I have diabetes and high blood pressure? 7 of the 20 methods help both conditions at the same time. Time-restricted eating lowers insulin and blood pressure simultaneously. Walking after dinner pulls blood sugar down and enables the overnight pressure dip. Magnesium improves insulin sensitivity and relaxes blood vessels. Ground flaxseed lowers blood sugar and blocks cholesterol oxidation. Dark chocolate improves insulin response and activates the relaxation enzyme. CoQ10 supports mitochondrial function in both the pancreas and the blood vessels. The L-citrulline pathway improves blood flow to muscles, which improves sugar uptake. If you have both conditions, these 7 methods are where to start. What if I have kidney disease? If your eGFR is below 60, you need to be careful with potassium from food, magnesium supplements, and any method that adds volume or minerals your kidneys cannot clear. The safest methods for kidney patients: breathing, hand grip exercise, correct measurement, walking, time-restricted eating, and dark chocolate. These put zero extra burden on the kidneys. Everything else should be discussed with your nephrologist first. Do not add potassium-rich foods or magnesium without a blood test showing your levels are safe. What if I am on blood thinners? Fish oil, aged garlic extract, and ground flaxseed all have mild blood thinning effects. If you are on warfarin or Eliquis, choose one of the 3, not all 3. Tell your doctor. Get your INR or clotting levels checked after starting. The other 17 methods have no interaction with blood thinners. What if I have gout? High uric acid and high blood pressure are connected. Some diuretics, like hydrochlorothiazide, raise uric acid. If you have gout and high blood pressure, ask your doctor whether losartan would work for you. Losartan is the only blood pressure drug that actually lowers uric acid. Among the 20 methods, tart cherry juice can help gout, but was not strong enough for this blood pressure list. Dark chocolate in small amounts is fine. Avoid excessive fructose from fruit juices, which raises uric acid. What if I am African American? Salt sensitivity is significantly higher in Black Americans than in other populations. This means sodium reduction, method 17, is likely to produce a larger blood pressure drop for you than the study averages suggest. Potassium intake is also more impactful. The DASH sodium approach was originally studied heavily in Black participants, and the results were dramatic. Prioritize sodium reduction and potassium-rich foods as your first moves alongside the breathing and walking. What if I have COPD or trouble breathing? The paced breathing technique needs modification. Do not force the exhale. Let it be gentle. If 4 seconds in and 6 seconds out feels like too much, start with 3 seconds in and 5 seconds out. The key is the exhale being longer than the inhale, not the specific numbers. If pursed lip breathing is already something you do for your COPD, you are already halfway there. Just slow it down to 6 breaths per minute. What if I am underweight and worried about losing more weight? Methods that involve eating less, like time-restricted eating or sodium reduction, might cause unintended weight loss. If you are underweight, skip the fasting window and focus on the methods that add things rather than remove them. Magnesium, CoQ10, omega-3, dark chocolate, and the mechanical methods like breathing and walking all work without any dietary restriction. What if I am already on 4 or 5 pills and feel overwhelmed? Start with the 3 that are free and require no supplements and no food changes. Breathing before every reading. Correct sitting position. Walking 15 minutes after dinner. Do those 3 for 2 weeks. Just those 3. See what your numbers do. When you see the numbers change, the overwhelm turns into motivation. Then add one more thing, just one, and track it. The notebook is not optional. The notebook is the tool that turns overwhelm into control. Most blood pressure pills work on one pathway. ACE inhibitors block one hormone. Calcium channel blockers close one gate. Diuretics flush one fluid. Beta blockers slow one pump. Each pill does one thing. The side effects you feel are the cost of doing that one thing so aggressively that everything around it is affected. The swollen ankles are the calcium channel blocker relaxing arteries without relaxing veins. The fatigue is the beta blocker holding your heart rate down so low your brain runs on half power. The cough is the ACE inhibitor leaving too much of one compound in your lungs. The frequent urination is the diuretic doing its job too well at the wrong time of day. The 20 methods in this video work on 20 different pathways. The nitric oxide pathway, the hydrogen sulfide pathway, the vagus nerve pathway, the potassium-sodium balance, the insulin-kidney connection, the gut-artery axis, the circadian dipping system, the structural flexibility of the artery wall, the antioxidant defense that protects the relaxation gas from being destroyed. Your pills cannot cover all of these. They were never designed to. They were designed to hit one target hard enough to bring the number down. The 20 methods fill the gaps around the pills. They support the systems the pills ignore. And when enough gaps are filled, the pills do not have to work as hard. The doses come down, the side effects fade, the number stays low. And you get your ankles back, your energy back, your afternoons back. That is what Sylvia's notebook proved. Not that the pills were wrong, that the pills were alone. And alone was not enough. Your blood pressure is not one number, it is a system. The pills manage one pathway. The 20 methods in this video cover the pathways the pills miss. The nitric oxide pathway, the hydrogen sulfide pathway, the mineral balance, the gut-artery connection, the overnight dipping pattern, the stress system, the insulin system, the arterial flexibility. No single pill covers all of these. No single natural method does either. But together, they build a system that works around the clock. You now know 20 things that lower blood pressure. That is more than most doctors discuss in a year of appointments. But knowing and doing are different things. Knowing 20 methods and trying to organize them into a daily routine on your own is overwhelming. Which one in the morning? Which one at night? Which form to buy? Which dose is safe with your pills? Which combinations to avoid? That overwhelm is what keeps people stuck on pills they do not need. They know the information exists. They cannot organize it into a daily routine. And every morning they wake up, take the same pills, feel the same side effects, and think, I should be doing more, but I do not know where to start. The Blood Pressure Protocol is my ebook. It organizes everything you heard today into a step-by-step daily plan. You open it to today. It tells you what to eat at breakfast, what to take at night, what to drink in the afternoon, what to skip. You do not have to remember 20 things or figure out which ones are safe with your pills. The protocol figured that out already. You follow it one day at a time. Your notebook fills with numbers that tell a story. And when your doctor sees the story, the conversation changes. The dose comes down, the ankles stop swelling, the cough fades. You are awake at 3 in the afternoon for the first time in years. You walk to the mailbox without counting your breaths. You kneel in the garden without being afraid your body will give out. That is what the protocol gives you, not information. A morning that feels different. You will not find this in a bookstore. You will not find it anywhere online. I have spent 20 years operating on the hearts and kidneys and brains that high blood pressure destroyed. I have held the damage in my hands. The protocol is built from what I have seen inside those organs, not from what I have read in a textbook, not from what a wellness influencer posted online, from what I have seen when it was too late, reverse-engineered into a system that stops it from getting there. This video gave you the knowledge. The protocol gives you the execution. The difference between knowing 20 methods and following a daily system is the difference between Sylvia at month 1 and Sylvia at month 5. The notebook does not fill itself. The protocol fills it for you. Every morning without the system is another morning your pills work alone while the other 20 pathways go uncovered. Senior Health Life Daily. Free to join. Link in the description. Every morning, I send you one thing that does not fit in these videos. Reply to the welcome email. Tell me how many blood pressure pills you are taking right now. I read every reply personally. The link to the blood pressure protocol is in my first comment below this video. Scroll down. Pinned comment at the top. The person watching after you will read the comments before they press play. They are looking for someone on the same pills, someone with the same swollen ankles, someone with the same cough, someone whose doctor says the numbers look fine while they sit in the chair wondering why fine does not feel fine. Your comment is for that person. Tell me 3 things. How many blood pressure pills you take, which of the 20 methods you are going to start tonight, and what your last blood pressure reading was. Those 3 answers might be the reason the next person buys a notebook and starts recording. Hit the like button. One tap puts this in front of a senior on 3 pills who does not know that a towel, a teacup, and a tablespoon of seeds could change their next appointment. Subscribe. The next video connects directly to what you learned today. Send this to one person tonight, the one who checks their pressure every morning and worries about the number, the one whose ankles are swollen, the one who coughs at night, the one who falls asleep at 2 in the afternoon and thinks it is just getting old. They deserve to know there are 20 things their doctor never mentioned, and some of them work by tonight. Click the video on your screen. I will see you there.